what have you seen from Drake this week in terms of preparation and just his ability to maybe stay even-keeled given the higher media attention and the bigger stage?
Well, I mean, I think we try to make it as normal as we possibly can, knowing that it's not going to be, and we try to stay on the same routine and try to keep the meeting times the same, the treatment times, and I think that, you know, these guys were able to work on Monday, have yesterday off. There was a lot of activity around the hotel, the meeting rooms, and guys are getting together and watching tape, and you know, I think that's what everybody has to do to make sure that they're ready. And I think the next 48 hours will be critical for us as we, you know, kind of get back into our normal routine here of a Wednesday and Thursday, and then the families come in and just things start to ramp up.
Mike, over here.
I don't know where over here is.
Over your left, sorry. We see teams every year spend big in free agency, and a lot of times it doesn't work. You guys had a lot of success with what you did in free agency this year. Was there something about your approach that you think going into that as an organization that led to that success?
Well, I think you just have to be very intentional with the people that you're bringing in. I think, you know, sometimes free agency, you have to be able to use it. People use it in different ways. It's a part of our business. It's another way to acquire players and player acquisition. Understand that you have to be convicted on the person that you're bringing in as a player, and also the impact that they're going to make in the locker room and around the building and in the community. So, you know, I appreciate what everybody did and their efforts, and Elliot and Ryan and Stretch. I appreciate what they do to help us steer us in the right direction as it relates to the players that we're going to try to acquire.
Go front row on the right.
Joseph Parmer, Medill Reports. Coach, you guys have ended up drafting 3 rookies this year that have made significant contributions on special teams. Can you speak to the contributions of those guys throughout the season?
Well, it is, you know, we did have some significant changes in that department, and when it relates to Andy and Julian, being able to come into this league and handle that. And again, it's never going to be perfect. Every kick isn't going to be made. But when we've needed Andy, and I think he's really settled in, Julian's been consistent, and Bryce has been, you know, our punter has been pretty much the veteran of the group that's kind of handled those guys. So, you know, we've made big kicks when we've had to, going to Miami and to Buffalo and on and on through the playoffs. So those will be critical that, you know, if this game comes down to a field goal, I'm confident that those guys will execute.
Dan Roach on the far left.
Morning, Mike.
Hi, Danny.
Just a thought on, you mentioned the word critical these next 3 days. You mentioned last week you were slowly going to install things. What's the process like for you in getting these next 3 days and getting the most important things done?
Well, we felt like you just needed to make sure that they were engaged and that there wasn't stuff that was just repetitive and they were sitting there looking at us like, we already covered this, we went through this. So want to make sure that now they're stimulated, they're engaged, and locked in, moving forward here, first, second, and third, and red zone and situations. So that's why the next 48 hours, I think, will be, you know, really important.
Phil Perry in the middle.
Hey, Mike, I'm curious, why do you think the Seahawks are so effective defending the run with just sometimes 4 down linemen?
Because they play with great technique, they play with great effort, they're talented, different skill sets. You know, you may look at Murphy and he has one skill set. You look at Leonard Williams, different skill set. Both play square. You know, they play with their hands. The edge guys set, you know, sometimes vertical edges. Sometimes they mix in some movement. They don't get moved off the line of scrimmage, and so if you don't move the line of scrimmage, it's going to be hard to run the football.
Jane Slater in the front.
Hey, Coach, there's perception and reality when it comes to the Super Bowl and the experience with a lot of these young guys, and you reflect back on your first time. What is something that you wish you knew that first time around that you learned after all of those visits to the Super Bowl that you've passed on to this team?
You know, I didn't really, again, every game is different, and don't anticipate how it's going to go. Whether it comes down to the end of the game situation or a kick or a 2-minute drill. Try not to predict what those are going to be. Make sure that each and every situation is covered, and understand that each of them is critical, whether that's a short yardage early in the first quarter or that's a red zone stop late in the game to give our team a chance to win. So just understand, having watched all these Super Bowls in the last few years and the ones that I've been a part of, is trying not to really predict how it's going to go, and you'll have to see how the game's unfolding. But understand each situation that we're going to be asked to execute, we've been through, since April.
Front row.
Good morning, Coach. Thanks for joining us today. You didn't have any overtime games this year. Coming into this year, did you and your staff have any general viewpoint on offense first, defense first? And did that attitude, that philosophy change at all when you saw the overtime games unfold in the regular season and in the playoffs?
We have conversations, and we'll continue to talk about it. Whatever the philosophy ends up being, the players have been explained what that is or what that will be and how we'll try to attack it. And a lot of this depends on their kickoff return, where the ball goes on touchbacks, how good the field goal kickers are. There's just a lot that goes into it. So they'll understand the overtime rules is, it's just like starting a new game. It's not sudden death. Both teams will get an opportunity to possess the ball. We'll get to the end of the first quarter, and if there's 30 seconds, it's not the end of the game. We're just going to flip it over and go to the second quarter. So we've explained all that, and then we'll just have to be ready if this game goes to overtime.
Andrew Callahan, back row on the left.
Hey, Mike.
Hi.
We've talked a lot about how you supported Ramondre through the passing of his father back in the spring. Just curious what you remember specifically about your conversations with Tony Diggs before he went out to Vegas, and what was the best course of action then?
I think there's things that come up that you're not, really prepared for. And to have, Ramondre have something that traumatic happen to him and his family, and him not know us as people was hard. And to try to support somebody that he doesn't know where we're coming from. He doesn't know Mike Vrabel. He doesn't know Tony Diggs. Other than taking some faith that we're looking out for him as a person, and we're looking out for him and his family, and what's best and how they handle it, and try to do everything that we could to get him in a place that he could come and do his job and perform and do and glorify his dad. And he's done that every single day. I'm proud of him. I can't imagine how that felt and what that still feels like. And, we're lucky to have people like Tony Diggs who care deeply about not only his position, but everybody on this football team and coaches and staff. And, Tony he would have gone the second that I told him. It was just like, give him a little bit of time, just figure, just let's wait. And then finally it worked out for Tony to go out there and be with Ramondre and his family. So obviously very appreciative of Tony.
Cameron Wolf, back row left.
Good morning, Mike. You talked about Terrell yesterday and him being here. I'm curious if you could maybe describe what impact he was able to have on the team, even through battling his cancer, and how Zach's maybe stepped up in a unique situation as the play caller.
Well, we've always talked about the impact that he makes on not only the defense, but throughout the football team. His ability to connect and reach with every single player at every single position, young players, veteran players. That's a skill. That's something that I can't necessarily teach or instruct them on. It kind of that's something that comes very naturally to Terrell. So I would say that his humility through all of this has been something that I've really appreciated. Never wanted to be a distraction, even if I told him a million times that he wasn't, and even if the players told him that he wasn't. His humility was always about the team. He just kept saying, I don't want to mess anything up. I don't want people to worry about me. So I've always appreciated that, and I'm glad that he's here with us. Zach has been fantastic. I think that much like players, when given opportunities, coaches sometimes have the same thing. When they get more opportunity, they take advantage of it, and then turn that into something else.
Megan Orlidi in the front right.
Hey, Mike. Will shared a story with us yesterday about one of the early times that you guys met in Baton Rouge, and he said he took you for barbecue for a 4-hour meal. What do you remember about that meal, and what kind of growth have you seen from him in this rookie season?
Well, I think Will's a great teammate. I think that, again, each and every day he's he's grown. He's improved as a person, as a player, and as a teammate. He's comfortable in his own skin. He's around a lot. The meal was, excellent. A lot of those local establishments take care of the boys down there in Baton Rouge. So it was a big spread, a great meal, and I hope to go back there and hang out. And we had a good time. And he made, again, I've said this before. It was Will wanted to make it known that he wanted to be here, and by that visit, not when he visited our place, but when we visited there, it was clear that this was the place that he wanted to be.
Taylor Kyle's back row left.
Hey, Taylor.
So the Seahawks, a lot of their big plays have come from play action. Conversely, you guys have been one of the best defenses against play action. What's made Seattle so effective when they use their run fakes, and what's made you guys so effective at stopping those kinds of plays?
All these human interest stories, and then Taylor just goes right into the nuts and bolts of it. I know. I love it. You have to be able to transition. If you don't pressure and you don't time up the pressure with play action, again, they're trying to get people blocking at the line of scrimmage. They're trying to marry their run actions with this system, which as far back as I can remember in this system, and Clint's done a great job of marrying their run actions each week. It's difficult to prepare for. So you get linebackers that are now coming up to the line of scrimmage, opening up passing lanes at the second and third level, and usually finding ways to protect the quarterback with 7 guys in there. So big thing for us has always just been about transitioning and making sure that we're able to get back, we're able to panic when we're not pressuring, and that we're able to get into those throwing lanes.
Sal Paolentino in the front right.
Mike, you said that the next 48 hours are so important, so critical. What do you remember about when you were a player, these 48 hours that you can convey to your football team, the advice that you got or the approach that you got when you were a player in these 48 hours?
I mean, it seems like forever ago, Sal. So I don't know if there's anything really specifically that I would take. It's a whirlwind on the first Super Bowl. We didn't have the week off. I just felt like being in this game with a week off, trying to be very intentional with the schedule, what we were doing when we were working, and not just going 8 days straight. I felt like that was important. So trying to be intentional with the schedule, but also just trying to keep them engaged, keep them locked in, and get them to believe that something that we do at practice today is going to come up in the game, and how we handle that or how we execute that is could make the difference. And so that's how we've tried to approach all our practices, is that something that you're going to do today is going to help us win. I don't know which play it is. I'm not sure which correction that it will be, but there's going to be a play today that somebody's going to make or not make that's going to make the difference in the game on Sunday.
Back row left.
Mike, you have a roster was turned over half the players a year ago, and of course you have holdovers, you have draft picks, you have free agents. A lot of times that takes multiple seasons to come together. To what do you attribute the ability of your team to come together so quickly in one season to be here?
Well, I think getting the right people in the building. I think we were intentional about trying to make sure that when the players returned, there was a program in place that they could look at, that they could believe in, that they wanted to be a part of, and that they wanted to protect. That's what we set out to do much before the players were even into the building. Felt like we were intentional with what we did in the offseason about building a team, bringing guys together from every background and every different experience. And I didn't think that it was important to go out on the field in minicamp. I felt like it was more important to spend that time getting to know each other and trying to build that before we went out and tried to run plays.
Mark Daniels, middle row right.
Hey, Mike.
Hi, Mark.
With Drake May, was there a moment this offseason or season that you realized he was special and had special abilities?
I mean, I think I probably realized that before I got here. I think that's it's a large part of the reason that I wanted to be here. There were plays in training camp and things that he did. I think the thing that was the accuracy outside of the pocket or on the move is, I've touched on it, is just the way that he plays the position. It's just he has an athletic nature to the way that he plays the position, and so I think that's somewhat unique. I think that everybody has a different skill set, and he's comfortable in the pocket. I think his ability to transfer up into the pocket to make moves, to make throws off platform and at different angles has been impressive.
Second row left.
Hi, Coach. Jimmy English from Gaelic Gridiron. Coach, you've led the Patriots to their first Super Bowl appearance since 2019 in your first year as head coach, and you're on track to become the first person to win a Super Bowl with the same organization as a player and a coach. What would a win on Sunday mean to you personally and to the organization and to the entire team?
Well, the organization has set a standard. The Patriot organization, Robert and Jonathan have set a standard for this organization that this is what the expectation is. And we understand that. We embrace that. For me personally, I've been through this. I want the players to experience this with their families. I want them to experience this with their kids. I want Morgan Moses to experience this with his 3 boys. He's been such a great presence on our football team. Not talking about his play on the field, which has been superb, but just his presence, his demeanor. He's a wonderful father. The way that he cares for his boys and does his job is something that I appreciate. So I want them to experience that and that feeling. I'll be excited watching them enjoy it.
We're going to do 2 final questions, and we'll take the ones that have had their hands up the entire time. So we'll go far right.
Mike, Ryan Dunleavy from the New York Post. You mentioned Zach Cord for a sec. What made him the right choice when adversity hit to be the guy who stepped up? You have a lot of great position coaches on your staff. What made Zach the right guy? Because I don't think he had defensive play calling experience before other than in college a long time ago.
Yeah, Zach's just grown from the time that I was with him at Ohio State and to the time that Stretch spent with him offensively to us bringing him in Tennessee and watching him grow defensively and understand the concepts that where we're doing defensively, why we were doing them, the suggestions that he made to try to enhance some of those things, continue to grow. I think he really can adjust quickly, and he has an ability to not get hung up. I mean, we sub and we make different calls, and I'm always, trying to watch and make sure that we're coordinated in what we're doing. And he's done that. He did a great job in the offseason. He's a good teacher, good communicator. So, he's really helped us.
Last question, third row left.
When you're playing in the snow like you were last week, do you attack certain patches of grass with the play calling? Look where maybe things are a little bit more like trodden on and trying to get some footing there?
No, I don't think we're good. We're just not that good. I mean, hopefully, the kickers have the ability to put the ball where they want it. But I don't think we could be that specific. It's a little too difficult to be able to do that. I appreciate you guys covering our team, and I hope you enjoy Stefon.
Thank you, Coach. Stefon Diggs is next, and we will be transcribing each person at the podium today.
Good morning. Good morning.
We'll start with Dan Roach on the far left.
Yeah. What's the word?
Morning, Steph.
Well, I'm
Over here
looking.
to your left.
Oh.
To your left, to your left, to your left.
There he is. Hey, what's up, big guy?
How you doing?
Good, good.
Just a thought on when you got here. What did you know about Drake, and how has your relationship grown to where you're at here at the Super Bowl?
Well, I didn't really know too much about him other than, we played him earlier in the year when I was in Houston. It was crazy. He had got like a mini standing ovation when he went out. It was one of his first games going in, and it showed a lot of promise. He had made some throws. He was running around. I clearly remember a ball he threw Kayshawn Boutte in the back corner to the right, touchdown. I was like, he can spin it a little bit. It was early impressions. He didn't play the whole game, but I think he finished it off. And I didn't really think too much about it then because I was in Houston and just rocking and rolling. And up to now, it's been a long journey. It's definitely been a long journey. His maturation process is second to none. One of the best I've ever seen from a quarterback position. He's still super young. It was just crazy. He's had a lot of success, but as I've grown closer to him, I'm a huge fan of him. He's like a mini inspiration. And to be that young and be that mature and be able to play at a high level is something that I always wanted when I was a young player, and I'm just happy to be a part of this thing. He's a good teammate as well. So we joke and laugh a lot in that building and in that room. So the more time we spend, I see that relationship growing, and he's cool with all his teammates. He's like that quarterback. I don't know how to describe it. If you play football, but he has that quarterback mindset, that quarterback energy. Yeah, he's cool.
For cadence purposes, we'll try to go back and forth, right and left. So we'll go to the right.
Where I'm looking. Hey, I got you. How you doing?
Great. Stefon, throughout the season, you guys have done the Zombieland touchdown celebration.
What's
a lot
that?
Of the
Oh, yeah. Sorry,
you do it better than I do.
old. I don't know too much.
How did a lot of your teammates have credited you for being the guy that really brought a different aura to the celebration and got it to really catch on? Where did you get the inspiration for it, and are you surprised that it's gotten as viral as it has?
I be on the internet a little bit. It's crazy that you said it. I didn't even know the name of it. I be on the internet a little bit. I thought it was fitting. I think it started around like Buffalo, and it kind of carried on. So I don't give it too much thought. I'm out there just trying to have fun, bring a lot of energy, and bring some swag. I take a little bit of credit. I'm a small piece of the puzzle, but when other guys make plays and they carry it on, like even the defense, it was kind of crazy because when it first happened, the defense was like, we need a celebration bad. Y'all got a celebration, and it kind of like brings the team together a little bit when you have like a team celebration and stuff like that. And I credit that to kind of like my past years being other places and seeing what kind of brings guys together. And you got to make plays first before you can celebrate. So I think it goes hand in hand. I don't take too much credit.
Tara Sullivan on the left.
Hey, Stefon.
Good morning.
I hope you don't mind an offbeat question.
No,
I don't know if you saw this news story. Lindsey Vonn, the U.S. American skier, is at the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
She blew out her ACL last week and is going to ski with it. And I just wanted your opinion of that. Could you imagine skiing, given what you've been through and what the recovery is like?
I can imagine. Prayers to her. Number one, I hope her surgery, when she does get it, goes successful. It's crazy that anybody who's torn the ACL, they know like a week or a couple of days maybe sometimes people can run. People can do like whatever they need to do once they get the swelling out. So it's kind of like a weird injury. Like as long as you're not cut in and like decel, I think she should be fine. If she's at the Olympics, she's obviously an amazing athlete, so shout outs to her. Her mental toughness and, whatever she's going through, hopefully she can go out there and give it her best because as long as she doesn't have to stop and decel, I think she'll be all right. So fingers crossed for her, and, I hope it goes well.
All the way in the back right.
Gotcha.
Stefon, you mentioned a couple days back you almost signed with Denver in free agency. I'm just curious, what did you like about their system and what ultimately just kind of in your evaluation process made it New England that maybe you liked a little bit more?
Mainly when I was signing, you kind of it's like a figure it out kind of process. And I kind of, lean towards my experience. I played against Sean Payton a lot. I seen what his offense can do. So that was one thing. And then a couple of people on that staff that I knew, Davis Webb, I was familiar with. He helped me a lot in Buffalo as far as like learning the plays. Buffalo was a different place, their offensive scheme with Dayball, he ran a lot of stuff. So Davis Webb knew a lot of that. He taught me a lot of the offense. He's a good friend of mine. I think he's going to be a hell of a coach one day. That's kind of how it ended up happening. And weighing my options on what was going to be the best. I also like, Coach Vrabel. I had a little bit of a interaction with him at Pro Bowl and stuff like that. And then they had a young quarterback. They both had young quarterbacks. So when you weighing all the pros and cons, I just felt like, the Patriots was probably going to be the best fit. And it wasn't too far from home. So, yeah.
All right, on the left in the middle.
How you doing?
Hey, Stefon, I like the hoodie, man. I need a hug, too.
Appreciate it. I don't really need a hug. Don't touch me, but.
It's all good. You're safe. You're safe. I just have a question.
Yeah.
Are you a man of faith? And if you are a man of faith, how does that help you through the ups and downs of the season?
100% man of faith. I get happy when I get to talk about it a little bit because, my relationship with the higher power, whatever you believe in, my God is a good God, and I feel like I learned through experience the things that He's taught me, and my shortcomings and overcoming and the obstacles that I went through even this past offseason. I kind of talked about it a little bit as far as leaving Buffalo was a different experience for me, and then I wanted to go to Houston. I ended up going to Houston. I wanted to chase a ring. I was around great players, a good team, and then I ended up tearing my ACL. Boom. And then fast forward, I ended up at the Patriots. Not a lot of people, believed in the Patriots or thought they would do anything. They said they were going to win like 6-7 games. That's what I was reading up at that point, but didn't pay it no mind. Fast forward, now I'm in the Super Bowl. There's a lot of things that happened in that timeline, but leaning on my faith and leaning on the things that that got me here. I feel like He was going to help me overcome anything that I go through or went through. And look at how it all played out. Who would have thought? I wouldn't have. But I'm gonna continue to lean on Him through everything that I go through. Here I am at the Super Bowl trying to win a game.
Kyle Hightower in the middle right.
Stefon, 11 years in the league by kind of default. You're kind of the elder statesman of the receiver room.
Yep.
But you're obviously still very much a young guy, full of energy.
Yeah.
What's it been like kind of serving that role for this group and interacting, get to know this group? And what's kind of bonded you guys all together despite your different kind of years in the league?
I'm the oldest in the room. They make fun of me all the time. And I'm like, look, Mike Wallace told me a long time ago when I was young, I used to make fun of him for being old. I think I met him around like year 7 or 8. I was like, damn, you old. And then he was like, you're going to be old one day too. And I'll never forget that statement. Like at this point, Pop, Kyle Williams, even Kayshawn, they make fun of me all the time. And I'm like, look, y'all going to be old too one day, and we're going to revisit and have this conversation again. But I just look forward to coming in to work every day, bringing in that positive energy, bringing that good mindset, that work mindset, and being around guys like Mac Hollins and stuff like that. They make it real easy. Everybody wants to work. Everybody wants to play at a high level. So for me, I just bring a little bit of a different, one small puzzle piece to the leadership. Mac Hollins does his thing. I do my thing. And those young players are shining. Their young players are future stars in my eyes. I feel like they're going to play well and do a lot of great things in this league. So just got to continue to lead from the front and the back.
Front row on your left.
Hey,
So, how you doing?
Considering this is your first Super Bowl, how are you preparing mentally?
The same way I prepare each and every week. I had a conversation with somebody who was like, are you excited? I said, I'm not excited at all. I feel like excitement is a little bit of a different emotion. Excitement is what I get when I maybe buy a car or buy something new or buy a watch or something. Right now, I just want to work. I look forward to this week. We got 3 to 4 days, 3 days of practice, but 4 days for preparation. I just feel like take it one day at a time. I'm not going to make it more than what it is or less than what it is, but I got to have the same mindset I've been having. I don't want to switch up the macaroni and cheese, get to doing stuff that I don't typically do. So I can't wait to go back to practice today and, get after it. So I ain't doing nothing different.
Front row on the right.
Steph, you mentioned Mac Hollins doing his thing. What exactly, how would you describe his thing? Have you tried any Mac hacks, and you've had a 1,000 teammates? How unique is he exactly?
He's probably the number one on a unique list, but he's actually taught me a lot, like alternative medicines, things that he does, things that he eats, how he moves on a daily. He's definitely one of my different teammates, a guy that do things differently. Like I don't look at everybody the same. No one person is the same. Their personalities are different. I accept them all, especially considering he's my teammate. I love him. He's like a brother to me. He works extremely hard. He keeps the team first, and he does a lot of the dirty work people don't see. So I was like with the blocking and stuff like that, and he can make plays at a high level. So I got a lot of respect for Mac. He's taught me a lot up to this point. I have not used any Mac hacks. Certain things with the cars and stuff like that, I leave that to somebody else. But I pride myself in being a good teammate and being a good friend, and he does a great job. And I'm a huge Mac fan. Shout out to Mac Hollins.
Second row on the left.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm fine, and you?
Good.
Oh, we're from Mexico City. We're a combo question, Pablo and Andrea. The first one is Cardi is very involved in music stuff, so I may think you too. So what do you think about the halftime show for Bad Bunny and
I want to ask you about what kind of player are you in the locker room? How do you share this wisdom of a lot of years during the NFL? And how do you connect with the younger players?
Bet. Number one question, how do I feel about the halftime show? I'm super excited. Benito, I think, super excited. I think it's going to be an experience that we all should share. Coming together at halftime, I wish I could be out there having a good time, but I got some other things I'm going to have to focus on and stay ready for. But I'll probably catch it after the game. And then the next question, I think it was, how do I do what again?
Share your wisdom.
Oh, yeah.
Players.
I mean, I only give knowledge to those who want to learn. You know, I feel like the guys in my room and anybody I have a conversation with, when you start getting to know people on a personal level, and you know, it's more about life experience and not just football. Like, you can learn a lot about a man, about the things that he's been through and the things that he's willing to share. So I meet everybody, you know, where they are and try to give them little bits and pieces of not only just football but my life, and let them know that I'm there for them as well. You know, if anybody's going through anything. So for me, I just, you know, I do what I can. I don't really make it more than what it is. You know, at this age, a lot of people like to do things how they want to do them, and you know, I don't force anything on anybody. I just meet people where they are.
Megan Orley in the front.
Hey.
Yesterday, Pop told us that he probably gets about 75% of Mike Vrabel's humor. 25 gets a little lost in the gray area. Are you in the same corner there? Do you feel like Mike is a funny guy and you relate to that, or is it a little dry?
I get 100% of the humor. He has some. I mean, you guys talk to him on a consistent basis. He's a good coach, man. Like he has that perfect balance between workmanship and, you know, we can mess around a little bit, but more so once you get the work done, once you've done everything you're supposed to, like he's a regular guy. He's like I don't want to call him one of the boys, but you know what I'm saying, he's just, you know, he has that perfect dynamic or that balance between coach and used to be player and, like, you know, friend mindset or father mindset, because he meets you where you're at, same way I like to approach things. And he has a lot of jokes. He calls people like little buddy, and you know, he walks around, we all got handshakes. He's like, that's when I say he's like damn near like he's like part of the team. He's a coach, but kind of feel like he's still got that player in him too as well. So I think it makes for a great relationship.
Two final questions. We'll start with Sophie Willow on the far left.
Hi, Steph.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How about you?
Good.
I'm curious. This team has a good mix of younger players and veterans, but there hasn't been as much Super Bowl experience. Is there anyone this week that the team has specifically been relying on, or that's kind of stepped up as a leader to help navigate this week?
No, I think it's been the same consistent, just because they try not to switch the macaroni and cheese. And the guys that have that experience, I don't think they've approached it any other way, you know, than they approach each and every week, which is a great thing, because there's consistency there. Like, you can rely on guys who have been in the Super Bowl, who have like experience, like a guy like Milton Williams, like superstar, you know, Carlton Davis, guys who made those plays. I feel like they've approached this week the same way they approach any week. It's a lot of extra stuff, a lot of fluff, a lot of, you know, this type of stuff, media and stuff. But the football stuff, it's been consistent and, you know, something that we all want to be a part of. And I look forward to, you know, this game.
Last question, middle on the right.
Donald Ware with Boxer Road, representing Silver Spring, Maryland.
Nice to meet you, boss.
Yes, sir. For you, 11 years in the league.
Yeah.
Your first Super Bowl. It is one of the best receivers in the league over that period of time. What does that mean to you?
It means everything to me. I kind of talked about notoriety and legacy and the other day, and I just feel like these are one of those things that kind of help your journey, I guess. You know, it's been a long journey. It's been a long time, you know, just to even get here. It's been a lot of games played, a lot of practices. That's why I can't get swayed or can't get distracted. I got to keep the main thing, you know, get back to work. You know, don't think too much of it. Don't think less of it than what it is either. Appreciate it for everything that I've been through, every practice, every day, you know, life. I just take it for what it is. I'm just thankful to be where I'm at right now. So I want to appreciate that. And the best way I can do that is, you know, nurture the blessing that God's given me, get back to work, get on the grind, and, you know, trying to find a way to earn a win. So thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Steph. Thanks, everyone.
play at a high level in critical situations and in little things that know that during the game, little things are going to matter.
Rick, are you good at balancing all of the attention and things that you're getting this week, and everybody kind of focus on seemingly every aspect of your life while still trying to prepare for a football game?
Yeah, I know the number one thing right now is we came out here for a reason, and we came out here to win the football game and win the Super Bowl, and knowing that all my chips are going towards that, and knowing that that's the most important thing right now, and what I'm doing in life, and being out here in a new state and a new city, and just trying to find my rhythm and find a kind of plan to try to execute and treat things the same as we're going throughout the week and preparing for a game on Sunday.
Drake, you're the first quarterback from that 2024 class to make it to the Super Bowl. How do you view the competition among the six of you that went in the first round? Is that something that you feel like is going to be ongoing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just natural for people to compare quarterbacks to what class they're drafted in. I know it's not a race or a competition for us. We know we're all trying to get to the same stage and get to the same games and get to the same Super Bowl wins. And it just so happened that I got here first, but I know those guys are great players. We're gonna have a lot of great matchups between us down the road, and I know they're great players. Have had great years, and looking forward to many more matchups with them.
Three of you guys make it pretty deep in the playoffs. You, Cole, and Caleb. Do you feel like you guys are making your case to be one of the historic draft classes?
I think already you can see this draft class has started to make some noise in the league, and I think it's just props to how strong our class was, and props to us for getting drafted and still putting work in to be changing game changers and for the franchises, and just to prove why our worth to these franchises, and know that's what we try to do each and every day.
Drake, what did you think about Caleb's season and those throws in the playoffs that you made and everyone's talking about? Were you also impressed as a quarterback seeing what you did?
He's been making those since I was throwing with him in high school. And in college, he made the same type throws, and it just so happened, his game translates to any stage he's playing on. And I think just he's special talent. He's special to watch, and he's so fun to watch. So he's a great player. I got to know him well, and pulling for him, and congrats on a great year to Caleb.
Drake, you're in your first big playoff run. What do you think about the 18-game schedule, given the NFLPA said they're against it? How do you feel when you're facing game number 21 this season?
Man, this season feels long, that's for sure, but I think it's worth it. I think any time that you add another game, I think players and especially guys in the trenches that put the most on their bodies, probably would be warranted extra bye, and the bye week, and from there the more and more international games is, the tougher the schedule gets. But I know playing international is such a great thing for this league, and I know 18 weeks. I got the easier position to do, because I just kind of stand back there and throw and don't really have as much gruesome hits on my body. But whatever the players think, I know that's all why there's veterans and players and in a part of the NFLPA that do what they do and make these decisions for us and speak for us. So we just try to have a way in and put our vote in and whatever they decide. But I know there's a lot of things that the NFLPA is fighting for, and I appreciate them for doing that. It's a constant in my life, knowing that one of the best things about a football team is that there's other brothers in the on the team that are followers of Christ, and be able to share thoughts and sit down at chapel and listen to our chapel Mitch talk before a game is just so powerful. And realizing the night before a game that we're in here spreading the word and listening to the word and knowing that that's bigger than football has just been such a thing for me to lean on and take my thoughts away from football and know that, man, this is my purpose, and this is why I'm here on this stage today, and be able to shine light on others and get them to follow Jesus Christ is what I'm here for, and it's what God put me here to do.
Are there any quarterbacks you specifically model your game after?
Specifically model my game after? I think I'm now in the NFL now. I'm trying to model my game after myself, and just try to take things growing up in high school and college from players in the NFL. And at this stage, you'll find times throughout the league, throughout the weeks to see, like, man, this is what Josh Allen did on tape. Pump faking. This is Mahomes is pump faking. These are what these guys are doing. Looking people off. Stafford's one of the best at looking guys one way, throwing the other way. So there's things that you try to take from players, but I wouldn't say you try to model my game after anybody anymore. I'm at the stage now where I'm NFL quarterback and trying to make a name for myself.
Coverage question for you. What's the challenge of seeing quarter, half? When you see that, and do you feel like you've seen that more in the late portion of the season here?
I think it's become a thing in the league, more and more, the past couple of years to play quarter, half, and whether it's something that they cloud the boundary or they cloud the field, just depending on kind of what the team does. The challenge is they try to stay too high and take away deep shots, but also you got some chances underneath, and there's holes in every coverage. So knowing that and just trying to exploit where we can, and knowing that we got guys out there that can have great feel in zone and can find the zones and try to sit down, and also got to be able to run the football. One more time.
What's a word you would use to describe the guys in your receiving room?
A word to each of them? Oh, Mac Hollins. A word I would describe Mac Hollins. He's just unique. Mac. He's unique. Steph Diggs is just personality. Pop just brings energy. Always positive vibes with Pop. Booty, just calm and cool. Who else we got in there? Kyle's the rookie. That's all I got to say about Kyle. He's the man, but he's a rookie. Chiz is just a mini Mac. And then who else we got in there? Steph, Booty, Mac, Pop, Kyle. I'm probably missing somebody. But, no, they all do great things, and they're great personalities. Yeah, the I Heart Drake May shirts are hilarious. I think it's something that even my wife has started to wear. I try not to tell her to wear it, but no, I think, like I've said many times, the way that Boston, New England area has embraced me and embraced us this year as a team has just been special. There's no better fan base I'd rather play for, and just so fortunate to be in my position to get a chance for kids to look up to me and just trying to be myself and shine light onto things that are bringing the football, but at the same time knowing that a lot of kids out there are fans and maybe want to be in my position one day, and know that anything I can do to make somebody's day, I'm here to do it.
And Drake, you know what that's like. 10 years ago, yourself, what's it like the game right now?
Yeah, I mean, it was special. My dad was fortunate enough to bring me out here and have a chance to watch the Super Bowl as a young kid, and just knowing that I'm here now is a full circle moment. And just thanks to my dad for making a middle school kid's dream come true, and now I get a chance to make my own dream come true.
Will you take a moment when you walk into the stadium and look around, and maybe you'll make it to a bunch of Super Bowls, but the first one, will you take a moment, look around, and just absorb the whole thing to realize that you got there?
We played in San Francisco here last year, and I got a chance. It wasn't the same type of environment with the Super Bowl here, but got a chance to walk in that stadium, and just memories of here, and knowing I got family around here that's growing up here, so I've been out here a few times. But yeah, I definitely think a little bit. When it's playing the Super Bowl, it's the same game here just 10 years later. It's pretty cool and definitely a time to reflect. But I got a ball game to win at the same time. So. Yeah, there's so many guys in that room that can make plays. I'm so fortunate enough to be able to, have them make me look good, and it's been the kind of the theme all year long with them and the tight ends, and even the running backs. Anybody can have an explosive game, an explosive play, a game-changing play, and it's my job to find the guy that's open. And they do such a good job of not kind of getting on me or yelling at me for the ball. And I think that's something that speaks volumes to this team and what this team's about. Just unselfish play and knowing that we're trying to make game-winning plays.
You guys have outrushed your opponents by nearly 180 yards throughout the postseason. How crucial has the run game been to your guys' success so far this postseason?
Yeah, running the football is such a huge advantage in this league. Being able to run the football and stop the run. Coach Vrabel preaches that in almost every meeting we're in, and knowing that we got guys on that offensive line that move bodies, running backs that can hit the hole and break tackles, and knowing that I can add a little bit in the run game as well. Just keeping the defense honest, knowing that if they stop the run, they got a good chance of having a better day than we do. So we got to establish the run early and try to get that going. Man, they're ferocious. They're violent. They swarm. They cause turnovers, and they're just fun to watch. I know I experienced it in training camp. They got some great players over there. They play well together, and they've just gotten better and better each and every week. And they found a time where they're playing at a really high level, and looking forward to watching them on Sunday.
What would winning a Super Bowl for him mean to you personally?
Coach T, what a battle, what a year. Beating cancer and have a chance to battle cancer all year long. Coach T has been a light for the defense. We haven't seen him as much around offensively, but to see him throughout the building, walking by, and him being out here on the trip. I know he's at practice on Monday. I saw him and just took a moment to say to sit back and be like, man, that was cool. That what a year he's had, and a chance to help first year as a defensive coordinator, and obviously wasn't in the way he probably imagined it before the season, but now still getting here and having a huge impact on us, and the defense has been just special, and it mean things that are bigger than football, and that's what this game's about.
Drake, what is your biggest life goal other than winning a Super Bowl?
Biggest life goal other than winning a Super Bowl? I think just to build my faith. Just build my faith, be a strong Christian and shine light to others into Christianity and what it does for you in your life and how it can change your life, with Jesus Christ and, how he died for us and, died on the cross for us and just sharing that moment.
As you may know, we are from Patriots China, and Patriots had most followers in China among all the NFL teams. So NFL has 2 million followers, and Patriots have 1 million, which is half the NFL fans in China are Patriots fans.
How about that?
Yeah. So do you have something to say to Chinese fans?
Shout out to Patriots fans in China. Thank you guys for cheering us on. I know it's a big crowd, a big group that cheers us on. Look forward to putting on a show for you guys on Sunday, and thanks for following us all year long.
If you win on Sunday, what's the next ambition? How do you want to become a full-time NFL great?
All-time NFL great? I don't think you play this game and play this position not to try to become an NFL all-time great. I think the only way to do that is to win more games. So I think, focus on this one here and get back to work. That's the biggest thing.
Is there any limits to your ambition?
Any what?
Any limits to your
Any limits to the ambition? I think why would you limit yourself in any way? Try to reach your full potential and do whatever you can to reach the highest.
Jake, what are the emotions like this week for you?
The emotions I think it's just cool. It's such a cool moment to be out here with the guys, the teammates. So much team bonding, so much being around the teammates, to share more experiences, living in a hotel together for basically a week, and just a chance to enjoy the moment together and prepare one more time for the ultimate battle, playing the Super Bowl, and just looking forward to being out there with the guys. I know the emotions will feel a little bit higher on game day, but right now looking forward to getting into good work of preparation and get ready to go on Sunday.
What has Mike told you about this particular game? It's longer. There's more adrenaline. The halftime show is longer. Commercial breaks are longer.
No doubt. He's made a great point, and having him and Coach McDaniels, that coaches me in my position room, just having experience of playing in the Super Bowls and knowing that pre-game's a lot longer. You come in for halftime, it's almost twice or 3 times as long. Just having the stamina to kind of wait it out and try to keep your body fresh and keep your emotions and mental toughness and mental strength going is going to be huge for us to kind of be at our best throughout the whole game, and knowing that the first half could go one way and you got a chance to regroup and kind of settle down and come back here in the second half and get it going.
Will you have Aunt Mike with brownies?
No, I don't know about during the game.
Before the game.
Before the game, no, I won't.
Drake, the MVP race will likely come down to you and Stafford. If it's not you, would you be bummed or happy for Stafford to win that MVP?
I'll be stoked for Matthew. What a career. What a year he's had. More importantly, speaking on the year he's had, played at a really high level. Really every game you saw him, making throws and making plays and leading that team at such a high level. What a year is watching him on tape. It's always fun. Try to watch the Rams when they're kind of crossover film because he makes just plays and plays the quarterback position the right way. And I appreciate that about quarterbacks in this league that I'm really fond of, and Matthew's one of them. So big congrats to him and on a great year and knowing that he's one of the best that's played this game. So it's been fun to watch. Well, watch the award show. I probably won't watch it. I don't have probably time to sit down and watch that award show. I know I'll probably be getting ready to beat the Seahawks. Yeah, I think Coach Vrabel's done a great job about hinting on the past, but not trying to relive it, and that's been the best thing about this team. It's a new era. That's a new kind of brand of football we're trying to play, and one of the best things is we appreciate and proud of our history and what we've done in the past, but at the same time we're trying to make it our own.
Drake, how does this show with you?
Yeah, so it feels great.
Is there any pain whatsoever lingering?
Feels good. Feels good. That's why you have guys in the training room. My guy Zach and Mike. There's been multiple people in there working on get me healthy, and I'm feeling great to go.
Do you expect to be limited in practice?
One more time.
Do you expect to be limited at all the practice?
I wasn't limited on Monday, so I don't see any way I'd be limited today. I'm feeling good.
Drake, how would you define success? And how do you measure progression?
One more time.
How do you define success?
Define success? Man, that's a question right there. Define success. I think to define success would be to excel in an area of work, at a really high level that you're proud of. I think that would be success for me. And success, in life is any. It doesn't have to be sports. Doesn't have to be. It could be little things like having a great day or having a great meeting or having a great relationship with somebody. Just finding success in something in your life is what you're working for. It's what it is about, and it's what it's about. Bouncing back from failure and reaching that point of a point of where you feel like, man, I've done something that I feel proud to do. What I learned the most about myself? Just bouncing back from things that haven't gone my way, or I wish it would have gone another way. Just being able to put it in the past and know that what's in the future is more important. Say that one more time.
Football's going to be in the Olympics. Do you fancy doing a bit of flag football for the USA?
I think that'd be an honor to play for my country in any way in the Olympics. I know there's a lot of great players out there that would love to play, and I know quarterbacks, one of those positions that only a couple can play. But I know I'd be honored and proud to play. But there's a lot of players that probably go before me.
When you see the Seahawks team on film, what do you see?
Yeah, I think they're fast. They play together. They're well coached, and I think they're in the right spot. They make it tough on you. They make you play in long yardage, and they have a kind of a swagger to them that they enjoy playing out there together. They're hype. They make noise, and one of the best things about them is they're great on all three levels. So we got a tough challenge, and they got great players on all three levels, and we know we got to play a good brand of football and get back to what we've been doing all year long.
Loss valuable to you guys to sort of learn some things from it to kind of launch you to where you're going now?
I think the Buffalo loss was a point where we were had a hot streak during the season, and it was a point where our first half was we were like, man, this is who we are. And in our second half, we came out and be like, against these playoff teams, you got to play 4 quarters. And knowing that, and coach seeing that, and kind of relaying that message to us again and again that you need all 4 quarters to play, in this game and play against a good team with a good defense with a good quarterback. And we got one of those again this week. So it's got to be 4 quarters of football, and know we got to play at a high level. I think 100% responding from any loss is what life's about. Responding from a game that didn't go your way or plays you feel like you left out there, and this is what this sport's about. Responding and bouncing back from plays or games or maybe even a season like last year to bounce back and get back on the track. Coach McDaniels? Yeah, oh man, the impact is huge. He's such a great coach. He's a great coach of quarterbacks. He's such a great coach for the offensive room, and I know he's had a huge impact on my career, on my life, and just learning his offense. His offense is very friendly to quarterbacks that play in it. He's gives me a lot of responsibility, but at the same time, I got to earn it, and that's the biggest thing we talk about: trust in the quarterback room, and trusting each other, and trust between me and him, and just trusting what we see on tape, trusting what we prepare for, and just using my ability to take it from there.
You're about to become the second youngest running quarterback in Super Bowl history. How do you balance soaking in the moment with leading a team towards its goal?
Yeah, this year's been such a long year. It goes by so fast. I think you soak in the moment. With being there with the guys, playing in the Super Bowl. I don't think you soak in the moment or about however young I am or old I am. I think you just soak in the moment with your teammates, your coaches, the people who you love, my family and wife, and that are there with me. I think that's the biggest thing. You soak in the memories and all the stats and what comes with it is part of it that gives you guys something to talk about. But for me, it's about soaking the moment with my friends, my teammates, my best friends, guys I love going to battle with, and soaking in that.
Watch last year's Super Bowls and think, okay, we can get there, you can get there with this group.
Well, I think that'd be tough to say. I think everybody at the start of the year kind of put the Super Bowl on their bulletin board and knowing this is what we're the end goal. It's something to chase, and I think during the year you're not really thinking about it much. You're just trying to take it one game at a time, and that's the best thing that we can do. And now talking about Super Bowls it feels a little weird that we're actually playing in it, and now we get a chance to talk about it seriously, and that's what coaches remind us this week. Our hopes at the beginning of the year have turned into reality, and that's what we're here doing now. Golly, Richie, man. Whew, Richie, he does so much for us. He's always on call. He does, I think the player development and having, a guy like Richie that's always there for us. He's there for us. He's there for every member on this team, every staff member, every player, And I think one of the best things about the NFL is providing positions like Richie to do whatever's best for us. And Richie is just so selfless. He cares about us. Anything you ask him, he gets it done. And he's just, more importantly, he's just fun to be around. He's always in the locker room, hanging out with the guys. In the offseason, we go play hoops, and me and Richie are playing hoops at the local YMCA. And I just, really, can't thank Richie enough for what he's done. And he's had a week this week of preparing the Super Bowl, and he's, been such a huge part.
How has he helped you develop as a
Oh, man, I think Richie, you always see a smile on Richie's face, and just knowing that what Richie does to brighten people's day is how I can try to translate that to my life and shine light and brighten people's day in any way, and that's what Richie does for us, and teaches us to what we can do for somebody else. The next 48 hours are 2 big practice days for us. Practice days to game plan, to execute the game plan, and to get going on a work week. We're in work. We're going to be in pads, playing at new temperature, new kind of setting, and we're just looking forward to having a great week of work and get ready for the big game. The identity of this team, man, effort and finish is probably the number one thing that comes to mind, and just play for each other. Effort and finish, play for each other. I think that's the biggest thing that kind of remind myself throughout the game. My position, I don't get to show effort and finish as much. Maybe once or twice this year I've done it, but be able to play for each other and just try to play to this identity is what's got us here, and not to lose sight of that, and knowing that whatever got us here has worked, and try to finish off one more time.
Number 2 and 3 for this league.
Number what?
2 and 3.
2 and 3.
Yes.
Sí, eso. Hey, player. Debe tirar más fotos. Fotos or fotos? Debe tirar más fotos. Wait, what does that say? What am I saying?
It's a song from Bad Bunny. If there's sun, there's beach, I should take more photos.
I should take more photos?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. Which memory you should take more photos?
Ooh. Which memory I wish I took more photos of? I think the little moments throughout the season, whether it's playing cards with the guys, laughing in the locker room. I wish I could take a camera out there to the inside the huddle of what we're talking about or what we're laughing about, and just moments throughout the season of laughter and memories that you look back on and you can remember that and pinpoint that moment is the biggest thing in life and what makes pictures so special.
You're 23, so you are really young, but how do you feel when you are playing a couple years ago, you are watching the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think it's what you dream of playing in. And no matter the age, it's what a cool game to play in, and looking forward to get out there with my teammates and playing in the big game.
And the last one, who's your pick to win the FIFA World Cup next summer?
Pick to win the FIFA World Cup. Is Messi going to play with Argentina?
Yeah.
I'm picking Argentina with Messi. But shout out USA. I got to go with USA as well. USA or Argentina?
A lot of quarterbacks have been asked the difference between progression reads and kind of coverage reads.
Yeah.
In this system, it's kind of unique compared to the rest of the league with a lot of West Coast concepts. Is it demonstrably different from what you've been asked to do even last year under Vrabel?
I think the best thing about offenses nowadays are trying to mix in a little bit of both. You're trying to mix in pure progression. You're trying to mix in coverage reads. I think the best thing for us quarterbacks is you try to identify the coverage, every snap, and try to see the shell. See if it's post safety, split safety, see the corners, what they're doing. And I think the biggest thing is just you got to do it, and not even teach the receivers, but the receivers got to react as well because their route changes in man versus zone. So just really in general, I think at our position, defenses are doing such a great job of disguising. Making it tough on the quarterback to pick a side and pre-snap and changing the structure. So really for us, I think it's something where you can kind of eliminate stuff pre-snap and then maybe kind of work pro-snap, say, hey, I think I can maybe work here. And really I think pure progression has become a more and more common theme, and it's something that makes it easier on us, but also at the same time we try to make sure we have an idea what the defense is in, because that'll help us get to the right spot.
How dependent is it on the defense how much you might do one or the other?
Yeah. That's a great question. I really think maybe 30% of the time, what the defense does maybe change my thought pre-snap to post-snap about, what I was going to do on the play. I think maybe the other 70% of the time, whether or not the defense does, what it does is maybe a chance, hey, I would have started here anyway, and then you can kind of, sweep the board or start here, maybe go here or check it down, little things like that. Maybe 30% of the time I'll change kind of what I'm thinking based on what they do pre-snap.
You see more disguises than you would, like the Chargers seem to be throwing up some crazy disguises.
I think just defensive coordinators are kind of disguised mentality or not. I don't think it's really kind of more the team that we are. I think it's more what defenses love to do nowadays. And I think this team we're playing on Sunday does the same. They start in the same picture and try to change it up post snap. So we got to do a great job throughout the week of practicing that and seeing it in the game.
Drake, I saw your brother use his national championship ring to mark his golf ball. Is he giving you any advice on playing for championship on such a big stage? And do you think you'll have a bigger ring to mark your golf ball next year?
Yeah. No, Luke he's been great. My whole career. It's a different sport. It's a different position than I'm in. But he's played at in the same type of games, in the same type of championship games as you mentioned, and knowing just to kind of use what I've done all my life. Prepare and confidence in myself. He always is big on confidence in yourself and making the next shot or making the next throw or making the next play. And Luke has been a great job reminding me of that. And I know my possible Super Bowl ring would definitely be bigger than a national championship ring. Nowadays, the teams are making them so big and so cool. But really, I think we got a lot of work to do from there. But just being myself and having confidence in myself.
Did you give him a two-stroke penalty for the illegal call?
No. Luke is he does a good job of mixing things up and kind of surprising you. And I think playing golf with them is one of the best things that I do, and it's so fun.
Drake, can you speak to the importance of the scout team and getting you in the position you're currently in? Are there any players specifically you'd like to give some recognition to who helped you improve this season?
Yeah, the scout team's huge. They would do work all year long. They don't get enough credit. They don't get enough love. Coach Vrabel does a good job in team meetings, a great job, really, of pumping up 2 or 3 players throughout the week that really felt like showed a great look. And it's really dependent on the team with kind of who has the most important role. And showing one of the. Somebody has a job to show is Myles Garrett one week. Somebody has a job to show is Derwin James the next week. So it's such a cool and tough job for them to kind of adapt to the defense in such a short amount of time and really just be there for us. And it's such a cool thing for the support coaches like Riley and Chucky that get it going throughout the week and get the look right and make sure that the look translates to us seeing that look in the game. It's so cool when you see that look in practice and see it in the game and be like, man, that's what we want, and that's cool. I don't want to highlight anybody in particular because I'll leave somebody out, but I know the scout team guys have done great all year long, and they've been huge for us. Finding my voice? Being myself. I think I found my voice, in certain groups or in certain areas before, kind of the whole team, but at the same time just trying to, be myself, and I feel like my play on the field kind of earned, more ability to speak vocally and speak to my teammates and have their respect.
If you look at the schedule that the Seahawks have had in the playoffs, they've played 2 divisional games against 2 teams that they've played basically the last month or so.
Yeah.
So you're basically an unknown to them. And you as a player and you as an offense, in the last month they haven't had to prepare for a new team as much as they will have to prepare for you. Does that put you at an advantage for this game?
That's a great question. I think anytime you're playing an NFC opponent, you don't really know them as well as somebody in the AFC or somebody in your division. So I wouldn't say it's a big advantage for us to prepare for somebody that we haven't seen and they haven't seen us. But I think that anytime you have 2 weeks to prepare, I think the teams are both pretty well prepared for the game and looking forward to having a good battle.
What's your favorite color Gatorade?
Favorite color of Gatorade? I'm a Riptide Rush, that purple.
I'm going to show you a play. Can you tell us if you remember where you were, how old were you, what's your general memory of this? You know this play.
Oh, man. Where was I? I think I probably was close to, turning the game off and going to bed. I'm sure probably had school the next morning. But no, what a special play in history, especially with the Patriots. What a phenomenal play. I remember seeing Tom Brady's reaction on the sideline. You saw Richard Sherman's reaction. Just a crazy play, and knowing that it's plays like that with situational football and critical moments at the end of the games is oftentimes when these games come down to, and knowing to excel and practice those and be at your best in those moments is hard and it's tough, and it can end like that for either side of us.
Okay. Now I'm going to show you some American food or Mexican food for the big game. So you have to choose this or that. Okay.
This or that. Okay.
So cheddar cheese or guacamole?
Ooh, I'm a cheddar cheese guy.
Okay. Hot dogs or tamales?
Ooh, I'm a golfer, so I love a glizzy at the turn.
Okay. Cheeseburger or aguarache?
I'm a picky eater. I gotta go cheeseburger, brother. Unless you got a quesadilla on there. I love a quesadilla.
Hawaiian pizza or tacos al pastor?
I feel bad. I'm keep going Hawaiian pizza. I love pineapple on pizza.
Okay, hot wings or sopes?
I don't know about hot wings. I'll go sopes. I like those.
Perfect. American nachos or Dorilocos?
Dorilocos. What's those?
Very mixed thing with Doritos.
Is it spicy?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit spicy?
Yeah.
I like Doritos, so I'll try that on the right.
Perfect. American soda or horchata?
Horchata's nice. Horchata. I like horchata.
We have three of your teammates here. So if you have to choose one for the best halftime show, which would be the
Best
best
halftime show?
Yeah.
Ooh. I think it's got to be Matt Collins. I don't know what he'd do, but he'd have something that'd be a great idea.
Okay, the best friend?
Best friend?
Yeah. You can choose you.
I can't choose myself to be my own friend. I think it's hard for me to take a teammate over my coach. I got to take a teammate. Mac again.
If you're in a post-apocalyptic day and you have to survive with one of these guys.
Survive with one of them? Definitely not me. You can put me away. Mac would have some great Mac hacks, but I got to go with Coach Vrabel.
One more. Is there a specific person that you're playing for?
Ooh, that's a great question. Is there a specific person I'm playing for? I think the number one answer is, the good Lord above, playing for, my Savior, Jesus Christ, and playing for my faith. And then kind of family-wise, I think playing for my family, I think the name on the back of your jersey. I think you play for your name on the back of your jersey, and I think you play for this logo right here. You play for your teammates, you play for your coaches, and I think the name on the front of the jersey means more than the name on the back. But I think having a reputation for my family, for my brothers, for my parents, and how they've raised me and got us here is someone that I can't not give respect to and say I don't play for them as well. My family, my teammates, and the good Lord above, and obviously my wife. My wife's now part of the family.
Last time you were in this stadium in Super Bowl 50?
We played here last year against the Niners.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
What do you remember about Super Bowl 50?
Super Bowl 50. I remember being a Panthers fan. I had me a little Super Bowl jacket that my dad bought me. We were sitting in the stands, and we got there real early. We were able to watch warm-ups. I remember you kind of being back and forth. The Broncos got a lead, and I think it was a beautiful day that day, and having a chance to watch Peyton Manning's last game as a fan of football was pretty special. I know there was some critical plays in the game looking back on. I remember the fumble that Panthers had, and just knowing that plays like that are game-changing and try to make them or you don't make them. And from there, you just have a appreciation for being at the game, watching the halftime performance. I think it was Beyonce maybe. I think it was. And then just memory of the whole vibes of kind of being a fan at the Super Bowl and so many different people colliding and one for one game and just a special game. Just me and my dad. I was in 7th grade, so I was 13.
Kind of evolved at the podium, kind of slowing down and talking and stuff like that. Like, you feel like that's just like a matter of practice, like, or is it confidence?
I talk fast in general. I don't know if I'd slow down. I appreciate you saying that, but no, I've kind of always been the same way at the podium. I speak my mind. I speak fast. I got weird, probably facial expressions. I've got weird hand movements, and I would try to speak my mind and try to say the first thing that comes to mind.
Baltimore games earlier this season. Clicking on all cylinders. Was that one of the turning points for you personally to where it was like, yeah, I belong here? I mean, I'm sure you knew you belonged here, but that was just an amazing game.
I think a comeback win is huge for us, huge for momentum, huge for confidence, and one of the biggest things that I think happened this year was we've kind of been up in games and kind of had to hold the lead. We had a chance to have a comeback win on a road environment where they're loud, they're tough, they're fighting for the playoffs, we're fighting for seeding. Just a big game like that where we had to come back and had 2 big drives. The defense had to get stops, the special teams had to play a part. All 3 levels, we never lost confidence, never lost belief, and that's what I wouldn't say a turning point, but definitely a momentum kind of shifter.
Yeah, that hurt me. And also, I'm a Razorback fan as well from Arkansas.
Yeah.
Teammates with Hunter Henry.
Golly.
You just talk about what he means.
Man, Arkansas is fine. It's man Hunter Henry. I think Arkansas, the college, anybody that's from his hometown, his family should be real proud of the man he is. He's such a great teammate. He's so fun to be around. He's such a great competitor. He's one of the best teammates I'll have in my career. It's hard for me to say that now, but I know looking back, he'll still be one of them. He's one of my best friends on the team. Great player, even better teammate, and just a man of faith that has a great family and is in it for the right reasons. He does shows up to work, every day, putting his ball out there, practicing hard, and really just is always in a good mood and really just, enjoy playing with Hunter. And I appreciate every moment out there with him. Have I been to Arkansas? That's a good question. I think maybe drove through it. I don't know if I've been exactly to it, but maybe drove through it. Last thing that I Googled, I'll pull it up. I may have to lie. The last thing I Googled was a Go-Yard bag. I wasn't really familiar with what the brand was, but I think my teammates always got some swag bags, so maybe trying to add to my collection. I don't think I'd fit the brand, but I need a little more swag. I got no swag, so.
Biggest reflections on being here? You think of the people that brought you here, that helped you get to this point. You think of those that doubted you. Like, when you think about being here in this moment with this opportunity, what are the biggest things you've got to reflect upon this week?
I haven't had too much time to reflect on it. It's hard to be in the midst of it and reflect. I think that's oftentimes it's so hard about life as human beings, reflecting on special moments, and you feel like you always want to go back to those times. But I think the biggest thing I think of is a small town kid from Huntersville, North Carolina, who's had a chance to have a dream of mine and just get to where a lot of people have wanted to be, and now that I'm here, just appreciate the people along the way that got me here, and knowing that it's worth it. It's worth it, all the work you put in, all the people that helped you along the way. To thank them. It's worth it to thank them and know that they helped you get here. And so many different people helped. It's hard to say give thanks, but at the same time, it's only worthwhile if you'll get here and make the most of it on Sunday.
Two more questions to take, guys.
You mentioned this is kind of the start of something you hope for this Patriots franchise. How do you balance that with kind of the opportunity of now and not knowing what the future may?
Yeah, I don't think you worry about the future, Coach. I think the past and the future. You worry about being in the present. And Coach Vrabel is so great at hinting at the past, but not reliving it and kind of being like, hey, we're doing it. We did it this way. This is how you should do it. And he's great at bringing back old memories, but at the same time, knowing that we're a new team, new era, new kind of Patriots team that we're trying to build for a long time in the future.
Last question, guys.
You were drafted in Detroit, and it's been 2 years now. I mean, it's a short journey, and you're already here at the Super Bowl. What's that journey been like for you?
Yeah, that journey's been a whirlwind. Kind of adapting to the NFL. Always wondering what it's like to be in one of those locker rooms. Being in one of the huddles. Calling plays. Being in road environments, playing in stadiums that you only dreamed of playing in. Growing up, and now we get a chance to be here, playing in the big game. It's special. It's something that I don't take for granted. Appreciate my teammates, coaches, everybody helped us get here, and knowing that from this year to last year, just the two sides of the NFL, of what it's like, the business side of it, the losses, the wins, what makes it worth it, why everybody wants to get to this game so bad, why the teams are fighting so hard to get to the Super Bowls, and you know why now. Sitting here and realizing that everybody's hope that we're living in reality now.